As you know, the rods and cones are the photoreceptors of the eye. The rods are for black and white vision and for dim vision. So when you go out at night and it's very dark, it takes a while for your eyes to adjust because you're converting a chemical in the rods. And then when you see a bright light, that chemical breaks down and we feel that as pain. There are fewer rods, and they're at the kind of the periphery, the outside of the retina. Cones are for sharp vision and for color vision. They require more light. When you go out at night and it's dark, you may notice that you don't see colors. You need brighter light to see colors. The highest density of cones is at the fovea of the macula. We'll look at these bipolar cells, but again, that's some detail that we're not too involved in. So, as you recall, the retina is the neural layer, and this pigmented part keeps the light in the eye. Here are the rods and cones, named for their shapes. The rods look like rods, and the cones look like cones. And then here are some bipolar cells and some ganglion cells that we're kind of going to ignore. Again, let's see here. I think we're just ignoring this part here as well. Yeah, this is some of the biochemistry involved. So there are 3 types of cones. There are blue cones, green cones, and red cones. And the majority are red cones. Some people are colorblind, usually males. This is a hereditary recessive trait that's passed on the X chromosome, so they get it from their mother. And 2% of males lack either red or green pigments. So what they would see, if they were red colorblind, let's say they're looking at maybe a crepe myrtle tree, mostly green with some red flowers, they wouldn't see the red. They just might see all green. But a lot of their world is really quite gray. You should go to YouTube and watch a short video of people who are colorblind who are trying on these glasses that allow them to see the actual beauty and color of the world around them, and they almost always cry because their world is just a little dimmer. So we have what is called depth perception. You may have been to a 3D movie where you wear those special glasses that allow you to see depth perception. And the reason this is because our eyes form images, different images that overlap. So with a 3D movie, they're using different cameras and they cause those images to overlap. The visual cortex of each hemisphere receives information from both eyes. And depth perception, we see depth perception that allows us to see the 3D relationship among objects. If you had one eye, you would not have that depth perception. However, you would get used to seeing objects that are further away as smaller. So you would know that objects are smaller, are further away. So you can see that the image from the left eye oversects with the image from the right eye, and it allows 3D vision. Accommodation problems. Well, some of you may be wearing glasses. Emetropia is normal vision, and myopia, which is more common, is nearsightedness. People who are nearsighted can see near objects but cannot see distant objects. And this is a long eyeball, basically. And we'll see what happens with that. Farsightedness, the eyeball's too short, so that the image does not land right on the retina, it lands past the retina. So here's a normal vision, emetropia. And myopia, the eyeball is too long so that the object lands in front of the retina and is not sharp and clear. So they wear diverging lens glasses that allow the image to land directly on the retina. With farsightedness, the object lands too far away past the retina, and so they need converging lenses to make that object land right on the retina. We can reshape the cornea, and remember, the cornea is that first structure that light passes through as it comes into the eye, and it causes the first bit of refraction of the light. So they can take that cornea, shape it, bend the light, and you can have more normal vision. You would never have both eyes done at the same time in case there was a problem. You wouldn't want to lose sight in both eyes. So there's PRK and LASIK. Some disorders, not too many. A head injury that might damage the olfactory nerves. Older people, their olfactory receptors are not replaced as rapidly. And so older people have a lessened sense of smell and taste. So you can use this information to help your grandparents and great-grandparents. If they can't taste something that has a mild flavor, give them something with a stronger flavor, maybe sour candy instead of chocolate. Taste, again, this changes with age. I remember my grandfather always saying strawberries don't taste as good as they used to taste. Well, yeah, you're losing your sense of taste. Cataracts are often not injury, but damage that occurs over time with exposure to the sun. So really, people should be wearing sunglasses every time they go out into the sun. These cataracts are, it's causing the lens to become cloudy. So you can see that eye with a cataract. The lens can be replaced with cataract surgery. Equilibrium disorders. Vertigo is the illusion of movement. It's an inner ear problem. If there's a problem with your lymph inside the cochlea, too much alcohol or certain drugs, a variety of problems can cause that dizziness. Motion sickness, there are drugs out there that work with motion sickness. Dramamine and Motrin, they depress the activity in the brainstem. There are different kinds of deafness. If we were in lab, we'd be testing these kinds of deafness. So conductive deafness just means something along the pathway of hearing is preventing the sound. For example, too much earwax, trapped water, scarring of the tympanic membrane. Maybe the tympanic membrane has burst and there's some scarring on it. Immobilization of the auditory ossicles if those tiny joints are not working well. So that would interfere with the vibrations and hearing. And then nerve deafness. Now this will occur if you hear very loud noises that can cause permanent damage to the hair cells over time. So all those people in those cars will go deaf over time. Age problems, accumulated damage from loud noises, problems with the flexibility of the eardrum, and arthritis in the ossicle joints.